Hey there, my name is David. On this episode, I'll be doing a review of the G2 Go2Gether snowshoes. This company sent me these snowshoes, but only on the condition that I would do an unbiased review. So that's what you're gonna get today. So in their snowshoeing package, you get the snowshoes, you get a carrying bag and these poles. So it's kind of got a full package for everything. It also has these snow baskets. So with these snowshoes, they've actually put a lot of the premium features you find on really expensive snowshoes and into a much cheaper snowshoe. So first off, it's got snowboard bindings. These are really easy to crank and make them tighter. You can also just push this thing and you can see it just pops right off. So very easy to put on and off. It's got heel raisers, as you can see back here. So this thing, it has a nice tab too to pull it up or down. This is when you're going uphill and it's really steep. And if your snowshoe is angled like this, if your heel is hitting a surface that's not quite all the way down, it's much easier on your calves. So all you do is reach down, pull that up, clicks it in, and see now it stops right there. So on an incline, that's much easier on your calves and your legs. You won't get quite so sore. You notice too that where the toe is right here, there's actually there's a bracket, like a pivot, like a ball joint thing there. And so I block the back here, you can see it rotates. So as you step, your toe actually pivots through the front here, and it makes it feel like you're actually walking kind of normal. It doesn't feel like you're walking with clunky snowshoes. So I actually quite really like that. While this is a common feature on modern snowshoes, it isn't on every snowshoe. They've got this just kind of stretchy thing, and you can see it's just nice and loose like that, so you can step in really easily. And all you do is just pull that tight and just crank it hard and pull it into one of these notches, and then you can kind of just pinch it in these black things to hold it in place, and away you go. Now if you're someone who has OCD about this thing bouncing around, all you do is just slide these black tabs over further, and then you can put it in there. It's easier to do if it's loose. You can spread them out a little bit like that, and then crank it down, put it in there, and pinch it in just like that. So another thing this one has is kind of foam padding on the inside here, which is pretty good. It doesn't hurt my feet, and you can see the float on them is pretty good too. These are 25-inch, and this is like meant for 200 pounds, but I think the price is the same. It's around 125 bucks or 160 bucks Canadian. That's for whatever size you get, the small, medium, large. I think the large ones go up to 30-inch if you're kind of heavier and need a more float on your snowshoes. And as for the bottom, which is always the most important thing to me, you can see this hill I went up was very steep, and I had no problems. I didn't slide at all. It's got really aggressive teeth right at your foot here. So you can see when it rotates, this rocker, this is stabbing in every time you step forward. It's like you have a nice cleat, a nice crampon digging into the snow. And it's got a nice one at the back of this rotating thing too. It's also got one here. So you've got pretty good coverage. Now, if you're doing something really steep, then maybe you want to get something with a little more aggressive tread on the outside. But for general purpose snowshoeing and going up some pretty decent inclines, these are gonna get you there most of the way. If you're going up anything really steeper than that, I think you'd be switching to crampons anyways and ice axe, that kind of thing. So yeah, so far I'm like really impressed with these. They got a nice grip in here too on the inside, like my feet don't slide around. So the main thing to kind of take away from this is at this price, 125 US or 160 Canadian, you really can't find snowshoes that have all these features, like especially the heel lifter. This is like such an important thing for me. And any snowshoe that has a heel raiser like this has to have teeth, because if you're going up steep incline and you don't have teeth, well, that's useless. And it's the same thing if you have teeth but you don't have a heel raiser, it's also useless. So it's really nice feature. My snowshoes that I normally use, they have these snowboard bindings. They're pretty uncommon. The reason why is mine are like a trail running, mountain running snowshoe. It's so easy to put these things on. The only thing you have to watch out for these is if you get a ton of water or ice in here, then it'll freeze up and it's hard to take them off. So if you're at the top of a summit and they're frozen up, you might have to smack it a few times with a pole or something to get it to warm up. But in general, I think most people don't take off their snowshoes when they're out in the woods, especially on a summit. They'll just keep them on. But I'm so far pretty impressed with this. The only thing I can't comment on is like, I haven't been using this for a year, so I don't know if it'll break on these parts here that are wrapped around the poles. and or the tubing. This is like an aluminum tubing around here. It's kind of like you get on those tubs or those other brands. And so I don't know if these will crack or break eventually. I'm not sure. It seems pretty well built. As for the poles, it comes with 2 poles, and they have 2 segments on them. You can see where you can open the bracket and change the height of them. It has one of these clamp things. You push down, it snaps. It's got like the turning nut, so you can kind of change how much tightness there is on that. It's got a handle. It's kind of formed to where your fingers hook in there, and one of these straps if you like to use that. As for the quality of this, so this is aluminum. It's super light, which is fantastic. The only thing I worry about, I don't know yet because I haven't used it long enough to know, but this bracket here feels a little bit light. Like it feels like this bracket here, I don't know if this would break or the pin. It just feels really light. Now what I do know is I went down Mount Gibson straining on these things really hard, like all my weight going down the entire mountain on these, and they didn't slide once. So they are really tight. Long term, I don't know if it would hold up 3, 4, 5 years. I'm not sure. What I do know is that if these do break, you can put JB Weld in there and put it to whatever height you want and then glue it shut, and it won't be able to change the height anymore, but you can still use them. So the other thing I'm not too keen on, but this is basically all hiking poles, whether it's snowshoeing or normal hiking poles. This has the same style as every hiking pole where you twist these to lock them onto the doohickey here, and this one seems to actually lock in pretty good. It's hard to get this one off, but it has popped off once when I was coming down Mount Gibson. What you can do is just put a elastic band and you double, triple fold it over and put it right there, and then you can't slide it off. Or if you want a permanent solution, just put super glue around there and these will never pop off. This is a common problem for all hiking poles, not just this company. So yeah, these poles are fantastic because they're really light. So if it's a day I'm not going to be taking or not going to be using my poles very much, this is fantastic because I can just stick them in my bag like Mount Gibson, and I don't really feel that they're there. My only other criticism with these is at the end of the day of Mount Neo, you can see here I had big clumps of snow and ice in the crampons. They did pop out pretty easily, and this may be just because I was walking up rivers and down rivers for a lot of the day. So I have to say, for like 125 US or 160 Canadian, these are a pretty darn good value considering you get the whole package. And I'm not sure if this will hold up 4, 5, 6 years or whatever. Like my friend who has those old MSRs that have held up 10 years, but pretty good value for money on these. You can't really beat that for what's available in the market right now. So that's my review of the Go2Gether G2 snowshoes. If you want to pick one up, I have a link in the description which has an affiliate link which gives me a slight kickback if you buy them. And until next one, have a great day.